I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
Dan Pillow. Jennifer Wiehe. Here. Jennifer Anderson. Ann Pillow.
Here.
Al Glick.
Here.
Pam Jackson.
Here.
Anything from Jennifer?
Well, Jennifer's not here and I have no idea why, so she'll have to explain herself to council whenever she decides to show up again. Or after 2 meetings, you guys deal with it. Anyway, so we'll go ahead with clerk's report.
You received minutes from the last meeting of January 9th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from January the 9th, 2023.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Al Glick. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Al Glick.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
You received from me an email for pay ordinance 2A, and on that one, I had some typos. I apologize. The numbers didn't add up, and someone called and said, hey, what's going on? So anyhow, I made the correction, and I put the original, or put the corrected amended copy in front of you. One of it was on line 11. It should have been 16 hours of personal leave, and I only had 8 on my original paper I sent out. And the other one was on 13. The employee had 70.5 hours. He had 1.5 hours without pay, and it was noted that that should be on there. And there's a difference. And on 15, it was questioned why that employee was over the 64 hours, and when I checked into it, it was because of the deal with the water board meeting and the reposting and that situation. And then on 16, I hit the 5, or I hit the 5 instead of the 2, so there's a difference there of 3 hours, which will be straightened out this pay period this week. And then he also had 2 hours of overtime at holiday pay. So everything is been straightened out and is right. For the general fund, it was $9,446. For the street construction maintenance repair fund, it was $3,331.19. And for the water fund, $2,741.36, for a combined total of $15,518.55.
I'd like to make the motion to accept February 2, I'm saying 2 for February, 2A 2023.
I'll second it.
Motion by Pam Jackson, second by Al Glick. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Al Glick.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
The next one you have is 2B, and this is for monthly salaries to be dispersed on February the 15th. General fund, $7,741.53. From the water fund, $1,036.54, for a combined total of $8,778.07.
I'll make the motion to approve 2B 2023.
I'll second.
Motion by Pam, second by Al. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow.
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe.
Yay.
Ann Pillow.
Yay.
Al Glick.
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
The next one you have is 2C, and this is for accounts payable. From the COVID fund, $15,122. From the general fund, $9,858.86. From the state highway fund, $233.31. From the water fund, $509.50, for a combined total of $25,723.67.
Make a motion, approve 2C.
I'll
Second.
Motion by Al Glick, second by Dan Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
And inside your packets, I included the revenue year-to-date through the 26th, I believe, of January, and also the appropriations with the same date. That's all I have, Mary.
All right, thank you, Margaret. I also forgot to mention when I was talking about Jennifer that Bob will not be here tonight due to possible illness. So I was wondering what's your pleasure on that, council?
We don't know about Jennifer, so we'll make a motion to. approve.
Well, that's what I mean, just
Okay.
him.
Robert Kelly's absent.
No second.
Motion by Pam, second by Al Glick. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick, Pam
Yay.
Jackson.
Yay. Okay. I really don't have a lot going on this time around, but I did want to ask council if it's okay, I would like to schedule the State of the Village address for the next council meeting. Which would be March 6th.
What is it, March 6th?
Yeah. Because the 20th being the President's Day.
I'll make a motion to allow Mayor to meet March 6th for the state of the village.
Second.
Motion by Pam, second by Dan Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Thank you very much. We have a guest in the audience tonight that got a hold of me ahead of time. So he'd like to address council, so I'm going to go ahead and have Mr. Ault.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Always glad to be back. And it's always good to see, when I see students who are now adults doing well. So thank you for that. And we're in the third quarter, February already. It's going so quickly. Our kids have been doing really well. Just last week we had UC out on our campus. We have 8 students that have been accepted into their informational technology program, which is not an easy program to get into. So it was a high number, highest number we've had from Taylor. Plus we have 3 other students that will be in a similar program at Blue Ash. So a total of 11 students that we're excited for. Information technology is a good major, I think, at this point in time. DECA is a program, after-school program, that's focused on business. So kids learn business plans, entrepreneurship, and how to market different products. And it's a competition with other school districts in the region. We had 7 students that advanced to the state, 2 first place, 3 second place, and 2 third place. We're excited about that for them. We still do the spelling bee at the middle school, the geography bee, which is a little bit different. It's not just find a map and locate the place, and have a series of questions about culture and location. Those are important to us. We had 30 kids in both contests from the middle school stand up on stage in front of their peers, right? And work through all that anxiety. So we were really happy to be able to do that. Middle school wrestling program won the Coaches Classic, which is a Southwest Ohio middle school junior high tournament at Reading 2 weeks ago. Last time we did that was 2001.
Wow.
So we're really excited about the young individuals that are wrestling. Girls have a wrestling team now as well.
Really?
We've got a couple of and a couple of really good wrestlers. In fact, one young lady has been to the state championship 2 years in a row. She had a
Nice.
little issue with her shoulder, but I think she should be competing here, and we're hopeful that she makes it for a 3rd time. In art, there are 12 students from Taylor High School were awarded the Scholastic Art Award. This is the highest we've had since we've been participating in this contest. Again, it's regional and it's state, so there are pieces of art we'll move on to state competition. Our boosters program, our athletic boosters, looking to do some, potentially, once they get board's blessing, private funding for a fitness center / weight room. At one time, there was a plan to put this building out on the football field next to the concession stand. It was going to be locker rooms and then kind of a weight room for the soccer team, the football team, and our student athletes. And so that project never took off. So they are pursuing a couple of builders and trying to gather some ideas and then come back with a cost. And then they're going to go to the community and hopefully we can do some private funding to get that project done. Roy Rogers, as you know, is about ready to go. I have the secret date of when it's going to open, by the way, and I was sworn to secrecy.
You know
It was
you're gonna
supposed to be in
ask.
February. It was supposed to be in December, and it was supposed to be in November, and it was supposed to be in October.
Yeah.
And you know that routine.
Somebody already leaked it out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the
that's-
20th.
Yeah, so I was told by the end of February, we're working with Cleves Village Council on a crosswalk. We're trying to get the cars on Cooper Road to slow down a little bit more flashing lights and a crosswalk and probably a sidewalk. So we're excited about that because it's always nice to have business nearby, but also because Holland is the group that's building it and own it, and they are going to give 3 of our Taylor seniors scholarships. So 3 $500 scholarships, so we're really pleased with that. Saturday, we had the Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We recognized Izzy Murray, who is a swimmer from 2016 to 2019, and she has all kinds of records. Chris Hannum, some of you may know Chris. He was our baseball coach at Taylor. Taylor graduate, played baseball, I think at Stetson. Anyway, he was inducted in the Hall of Fame. And then our 2002 girls cross country state championship team. So it was a fun night, and they were back on campus, and they're all grown up and doing well. So it's really good. It was really good to see them. We had a nice event. Our students in our theater department are putting on Mamma Mia this year, February 17th, 18th, and 19th, in the Bruce and Margret Knapp Auditorium, and they're always good productions and performances. So mark your calendar. On the 21st of February, in conjunction with the Harrison Sims Foundation and part of the 250th birthday celebration of William Henry Harrison, the Cincinnati Civic Orchestra will be giving a free concert beginning at 7 o'clock. So we're trying to get set up for that. That will be after the play, so the auditorium is open, and it should be a really good event. We've been on the news about a month ago. Taylor Tiny Homes is the project that our kids work on in a class that one of our teachers, Brian Kessler, has spearheaded. It was his idea to do this. So think about industrial technology when you were kids. We kind of got away from that because of technology, and we've implemented it back. We're not trying to replace the Oaks. They have great programs over there, but some of our kids who are still on campus, we offer a series of classes, just like how to fix things, right? The toilet, the sink, a little bit of drywall. Well, it's kind of escalated into what we call Taylor Tiny Homes. So if you watch that network where people build them and live out in the middle of nowhere in these tiny little homes, we have more of a playhouse kind of setting. And so he ran it the first semester. The kids have to build it. They have to spec it out. They have to market it. They have to cost it out, everything that goes with building a home, and then we sell it. So it was very successful the first semester, so much so that we're doing it again. And this time Rupert Heating and Cooling has given us the donation to buy the supplies. And then we'll be raffling off tickets to get to buy it or to win it. So it's just kind of spiraling. It's a good problem to have. We have over 200 kids that want to get into that program. And so we're constantly looking for space and materials. And their workshop is outside. So it's like, well, this is the real world. You gotta work outside. So unless it's pouring or snowing, the kids are out there, and he's such a good teacher, and they're learning a lot. I call it authentic learning. And then we were kind of interesting. We hosted the president of the College of Mount St. Joe. He wanted to do a visit on our campus. And his name is Dr. James Williams, and just a really good guy. Fascinating, great background. Anyway, while he was there, one of our girls just next door happened to hit the button to enroll at the Mount. And so the counselors came over because she knew he was there, and they had a nice little photo op, and it was a feel-good. So we welcomed him, and we had a nice discussion about how we could partner. This, not this week, the following week, we have Representatives Denise Treehouse, Cindy Abrams, and Warren Davis, new congressperson, coming to campus. They wanted to participate in some activities in our government class. And then, of course, while they're there, I would like to talk to them about the state funding formula for public schools. We're kind of optimistic, and I shouldn't be, because you're talking about the State Department. You know how that works. But right now, the governor's bill is what they call a guaranteed fair funding formula. And it actually, if it all plays out and if they implement the 3 phases that they said they were going to do when they crafted the bill, it would help us get more state dollars and less need for local support. So we're keeping an eye on that, because I think the last time I was here, I mentioned that the power plant is closing. That's a hard stop in 2027. Could close, or what they call retire the plant earlier. Right now, my understanding is they're doing great. They're just really cranking it out. There's a need for that energy. But when they do close, that's about 10% of our general fund, 2.4 million. And that will be devastating unless we can get creative and come up with a way, or if the state steps in and helps us out. So that's really all I have for now. We're doing great, moving along. Kids are doing better than I do with the snow prediction. I'm like 0 for 1, right? Call school, and then it rained. And I caved to peer pressure, because I thought I should wait till 4 a.m., but everybody else was closing. You know how it is with the weather. They said like 6 inches, and it didn't happen. So
Not at all.
Kids got a free day. Nobody complained.
They're not going to complain.
Any questions for me? I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Danny?
Could you talk a little bit about the CAP?
Yes. Oh, I did have it on here too, and I don't know why I didn't mention it, so I'm glad you did. So the Citizens Advisory Panel was new to me. Because of COVID, I think they stopped meeting. The purpose, and correct me if I'm wrong, Danny, but it really was, at one time it was the Brower Road corridor, business industry, talking to us just about the market, jobs, safety. So in those meetings, I think we had a lot of EMS, fire, police, and just talking about safety in our community. Well, when I was approached to kind of resurrect it, or at least have the school host the first meeting, I said, well, let's expand it. So I appreciate Danny. Lisa, I know you're busy, and it was held during the day, but Danny came, and it's going to be an ongoing quarterly conversation just about what's going on in the plants, in the factories, in the businesses up and down Brower Road. What do we need to know as a school? How can we help each other? Those kinds of conversations. So I was glad that we got it back together. We had a good turnout. And the next one, I think, is March the 16th. And I know you're both on the list, so if you can make it, that would be great. It's not my committee, but it's kind of the group effort. Did I miss anything? That pretty much caps. I'm glad you brought it up. Because I really did have it here. I better check my list again. I think I got it all. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good to see you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you. I'm just going to go ahead and go back to committees. We'll start with Dan Pillow.
Thank you, Mear. I only have that meeting that we attended, the CAP meeting. They're trying to resurrect their meeting, and I'm talking to some past members of the PAG who feel like that we should be doing the same thing. The PAG dealt mainly with NEOs, and them reporting to us what was going on within the plant, and how they were, their admissions. We had reports from Hamilton County and everybody in that meeting. So we will be trying to resurrect the PAG again. It's very instrumental during the time around 2005 when they had the spill. It's very instrumental. We had overwhelming numbers of people come to the meetings. There were 50, 60 people who would come to the meetings to discuss that. I don't know where the plant is now, but we should always know where they are. They reported their income and all those types of things, so we'll be working, see if we can get that together.
They had the PEG meeting again. There was only 3 of us that showed up. It was advertised.
How?
I don't know how he advertised it, but they
Yeah.
advertised it, and it was still a virtual meeting because of.
Wow.
So this was back still when virtual meetings were still a thing.
Yeah.
Only 3 of us
Well,
showed up, myself and 2
I
others.
appreciate, yeah, I'm glad that that's happening. I certainly,
So it's got resurrected again,
I wanted, yeah.
and
I'd like
nobody
to get
showed
on the
up.
mailing list on however they do that. I'm sure other council people who used to attend all the time would,
Because
definitely.
he said he used the old mailing list.
I didn't get it. But anyway.
So you know,
Yeah.
I didn't do the mailing list, they did.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate that. Another thing that I gleaned out of being in that meeting is a good opportunity just to talk to people after the meeting, and the representative, this was during the meeting, the representative talked in terms of a grant that they had given to maybe North Bend. I didn't get it all, but I was hoping to get back with her some $15,000. So it kind of sparked in my mind that we need to be a little more aggressive, and I say we as a council and myself, we just need to be a little more aggressive and go into these big organizations to see if we can get some funding for them for the projects that we have going in the village. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you much.
All right, thank you, Dan. Jennifer?
We had a meeting on the 2nd of February, but we are still working on our contact book, and we intend to present it to council, our next council meeting on the 6th. So that's all we have at this time.
All right, thank you, Jennifer. Ms. Amy?
Okay. Parks and Playgrounds met on January 24th, and we just had a meeting to recap what we had done in the past year and some of the things that we had accomplished during that time, and to look to see what we hope to accomplish in this coming year. We need to security in the park with more cameras and reporting from that.
Yes.
And to install the exercise equipment and move this equipment that's out here on the side into, over to the park as well.
I know what you're saying.
Now you get what I'm saying.
Well, both of them weren't pressed down.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
24th? That was the 24th?
Yep. And we also, talked about the basketball and pickleball courts, and these are all things that we hope to accomplish. The main projects for the park was electric, pickleball, and basketball courts and the water fountain. And then we also talked about fundraising and finding ways to make more money so that we can make some progress. We also talked a little about the program which we had this past Saturday, 2 Saturdays, on the 28th. We had a program and for the community, our kids and our community is what it was called. We had a fairly good turnout. I think we had like about 28 people here. We didn't have as many adults as we had hoped for, but it was still a very productive meeting. We had speakers with, we had Mr. Larrick, Tracy Wiehe, Shane, where's my program? I had it.
Shane Walton.
Shane Walton,
and Jeff Reed. I think that was, And Lyric.
And the chief.
I started out with Mr. Lyric. So.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was a good program. We had, so they gave some very moving speeches and of encouragement for all as they gave their talk. And talking about Addyston and Addyston's kids. And then we had refreshments afterwards. So we all did a survey, and every time I lay something down on my desk over here, we did a community survey as to what the community wanted and their input into what we would put into the park. And they came up with 3 main things. It was water fountain, electric, basketball, and pickleball courts. Those were the 3 main ones. We had a number of other things listed, but those were the 3 things. So tonight I will submit a copy of this, of the survey report, also a list of the people who attended, and also a copy of the program, et cetera, for the records, because these numbers and things can be used as we apply for grants and other things when they want to know if there's any community involvement. So that program served for all those things. And anything else anybody wants to add to that?
Other than to say I thought that the speakers, as you mentioned, were really dynamic. They just, Trace. You don't know how many times hey, you don't know how many times I changed it on the program and finally the mayor changed it again. It was Tracy in the wrong place, Jennifer in the wrong place. But I just
That all
want to say,
came out good.
she brought it close to home. Living here, still only 24, not many years removed from being a teenager here in the village. And I thought that was important. She really did well. And I thought that Shane, although he didn't speak long, Walton, he hit on some very valuable points. You know, his first time public speaking, his wife says, I thought he did well. And one of the things that he hit on, I think was important, again, to reiterate, choices. That when you grow up in life, it's all about choices. And if he didn't say anything else, he said that. I thought that was a great point. And of course, you know, Mr. Larry, you almost have to kind of pull his coattail, but he's always good. He's always good. The chief laid out some great scenarios about if this park was your bedroom. Would you let that go on in your bedroom? You let people come in, and I thought that was a key point that really hit home. And Jeff Reed, I was shocked. You know, I talked to Jeff. He's always joking and carrying on, but he really had some good points. Good points about Addyston and how much he loved Addyston. He has quite an establishment here in Addyston that he closed. Other establishments, he's had as many as 5. He told me personally, he said, I'll never close Addyston because I love Addyston. And he's watched Addyston continue to grow. So those guys were tremendous, and I didn't mean to reiterate, but I thought everybody should know just how great those guys were. That's all I have.
Thank you. The other thing that I had, the chief had asked for a police meeting, so I'll need to set up a meeting possibly on the 23rd of February, and at 5:30.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just have to find out if Jennifer Anderson is available. Does that work for you, Chief?
That's February 23rd?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. That'll be fine.
Just let me know what
I apologize, I couldn't make tomorrow night.
you can add.
Well, you know, was
I have
Rush.
tickets to see Annie, so
Oh, cool.
gotta replace the wife at some point.
So it'll be,
Yeah.
if you can post it, we'll have the meeting on the 20th.
What's it gonna, just some topics I need to know something.
Okay.
And I just want a quick back, I'm looking
Okay.
right at the mayor. She also had some great remarks about her time growing up here in the village and how things were when she grew up, how important it was for these kids to understand, this belongs to them. They have to talk about it. They have to. The good thing I like about it, I'm sorry, because it's very important. The whole thing wasn't pounding the kids about snitching. They got that message.
I think they understood that
They got
because
that message.
It wasn't.
Yeah, but it was all about encouraging, how to make your life better.
Tracy had him wear a piece of bubble gum.
Man.
I'm sorry.
Her daughter had a piece of bubble gum,
It
that's all
didn't
she
even get to
needed.
come.
You got ready to come for a piece of
Didn't
bubble
even get to
gum.
come.
yeah.
That was good.
So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ann. Al?
I don't have no committees, I have nothing at this time.
Pam?
No, not that's committee, but we do need to set finance committee now that Margaret has back what we needed. So are you available? I know that Jennifer's not here, but we'll get with her if she's available. If not, we have to tread on, I guess. The 16th of February? I think it's a Thursday. Is that the day you said?
It's
work
my
for
husband's
Margaret?
birthday.
Yeah, that is
I'm sorry, it's my
It's my
Thursday.
husband's birthday.
Okay, is there another day? Trying to work with everybody's
The
schedules.
next week, the
following
23rd?
Did you
Oh,
just
that's,
schedule one?
she just scheduled one, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's 23rd for the,
Just as long as before next council.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe like that Monday or Tuesday, 27th or the 28th, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
That work for
Either
you?
one.
28th?
28th, what time, 5:30?
5:30 or 6, what's better for you?
28th?
What time's good for you?
5:30 is perfect. Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's to look at the 23 appropriation?
Yes. And I would
I
like
should
to,
have everything back by then.
okay. And I would like to ask, I'll send an email out to department heads to put your wish list. I know some of them from previous, and maintenance, and get your together, probably maybe next Tuesday, Wednesday.
To you?
Yes. And what else was it? And we're also going to try to talk about, one thing about the meeting we have with the kids, is about the kids program. We'll have to script and scrap and try to find money. We're going to have to take from somewhere else, so be prepared. If we want to get the kids program back, that's kind of the only way we'll be able to do it. And I know everything's tight right now, but that was one of the things in that meeting that we had, the public meeting, that was, we'd really like to see that, and we don't have anybody that's contributing like they did in the past, like, and it's helped us at one time with some money, but we'll see what we can do. Even if it's only for a few weeks, I mean, that's what we'll have to do, and that'll depend how many kids we get, of course. Other than that, a special events meeting too, we need to schedule, because someone's requesting to have an event in the community. So we need to schedule that to talk about it. And that would be, who's on that committee? I can't even remember.
You and Dan, I think.
Is it Ann?
yep.
So when are you available, Ann?
After the 23rd.
After the 23rd.
Mayor, while they're looking at that, may I say one other thing? For the good of the community, Chuck Burkholz, who comes to our meeting occasionally and watches it very closely, did a tremendous job in his write-up, in his column, in his newspaper.
Yeah, he did.
About that day, so.
He did good bullet points.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you get a chance to look in on his website, is it through Rivers News Dispatch, I think? I think that's what.
Sounds right.
Rivers News Dispatch. He covered it very well. I'm trying to see if he had the video. He hasn't said that he
I
had.
think he just wrote it in and did took pictures from the video, so.
Yeah. I just
Because the
wanted to-
video was
Yeah, I know
very
he
long
videoed it, but,
from how long we stayed here. So
right,
he just sort of took the pictures and took each
yeah.
person saying
Mhm.
and did it that way,
Okay,
which made it easy for our readers.
we've decided if you guys are done.
Go ahead.
Okay. February the 27th at 2 p.m., Margaret.
For
If you would
what?
post that for special events, I'm sorry.
Tuesday,
Yeah,
27th,
yes.
at what time, please?
It's a Monday, ain't it?
Yeah.
2 o'clock. Is that right?
Yeah, 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
It's on a Monday, I believe, ain't it? 27th.
Yes,
I left my phone at home.
yes, it is.
Since we're
And that's for,
Special events.
special events,
But what?
someone's requesting to have an event in the community,
okay.
and that's all I had.
All right, thank you, Pam. We'll go ahead and go to our chief.
Before I get started with what I was going to say, to circle back to what you were talking about, fundraising for the kids program, I was getting ready to start going back out to the community for cops and kids for this year. If you'd like, I can kind of maybe pair those together and see what we could raise in conjunction with both of those, and if I'm already going to be there.
Yeah, I would think anything would help, or
Okay.
council.
Yeah, that was something we're getting ready to start on. And the spring will be here before we know it. Before my agenda, I planned on following back up with it, but Ms. Pamela brought it up. The event we had a couple weeks ago, I had to leave before its conclusion to get a kid somewhere, so I didn't really get to debrief with anybody, but I just wanted to thank those who put it together and organized it for allowing the police department to be part of that. I think it's very important as members of the community, albeit the police department, we're still involved in the community. Oftentimes in this role, we get bogged down and we get so focused on the law enforcement aspect of our job, it's easy to lose sight of that community involvement piece, which is almost as equally important. Not always do we get to apply as many resources to that piece of it as we do the other. Having events like that and being able to participate go a long way. So I was also very impressed by the speakers. Ms. Wiehe, your daughter was tremendous. Very, very impressed. I've known Jeff Reed a long time. Outside of this relationship, I too was a little taken aback because that's not the Jeff that I always know and see. But he was fantastic, as were everybody. So I think it was a great event. Hopefully we can have more events like that and continue to be involved and build upon it and make it bigger. But I left very impressed, and I thought council did a tremendous job putting that on. To kind of run off of that, today, well actually tomorrow, will mark my 1 year here as the full-time police chief. So I just wanted to take a second to address council. Thank you for the opportunity for doing this and giving me the role of the police chief. I take a lot of pride in this job, in this position, and we as a department couldn't do it without the continued support and commitment from council and our police committee. It's been a challenging year at times. We've made a lot of progress. We've taken a lot of steps forward. There's been some times where we've taken a step backwards, but I think as a whole, we're in a better position a year into this as I think we were a year ago. Hopefully council agrees, but I look forward to the next year to continue to build upon the things that we've done. The additional full-time spot and the wages for the patrol officers have been instrumental in keeping this thing afloat. It's been a challenge at times to continue to maintain where we're at. I'd like to get us a step beyond that and build on what we've already accomplished. But we wouldn't be where we're at without council's commitment to this police department. So thank you for myself and for the commitment to this police department. So with that being said, let me get to my agenda here. I have a couple things I would like council to take under advisement. I have 2 officers that are beyond their 6-month probationary period. Both have done a great job for us with no issues, and I would like to at least address council and see where they stand on taking them off the probationary period. Would be Officer Scott, aka Eric Bartlett, and Brian Wheeler. They had both met their probationary periods.
We'll bring that at the next council meeting.
Okay. I also would like to move forward on an additional officer that we're ready to move on with council's approval. It will be Jacob Tenbrink. That last name may sound familiar. It's Officer Michelle Tenbrink's husband. He has left his position as a jail investigator with the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office and would like to come on here. He successfully passed our background investigation, and I think he'd be a great fit for the department with council's approval.
He is a really nice guy, too.
He is.
If you like Michelle, you probably like him, too.
I met him.
He was at the Christmas, yep.
Christmas
So
party.
actually, I believe most of you, if you were at the Christmas party, you met.
Yeah. We don't have any type of nepotism problems with husband and wife being on the police force.
They should never overlap, and barring one of them getting promoted in the future, shouldn't be a charge of
I
either
just
one of them,
needed
so.
to know, yeah, if there's something.
I looked, I didn't see anything in the handbook that prohibited.
So are you looking for a?
Well, we
vote
would
on
like
that?
to
I'm
hire him,
sorry.
yeah, part-time.
I'm gonna relent to see if anybody from the police committee, the laws and contracts has any questions. If you don't have any questions, then I guess we'll go ahead and, I'm happy to make a motion, barring anything that we hear from Bob, okay? I'll make a motion that we hire Jacob.
I'll second that.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Al Glick. Any discussion?
I do.
Was that full-time or part-time?
Part-time.
How is this gonna make, I know we asked for this in the past, how it was gonna make the schedule look with this full-time person? The third person, actually, it's really second, not including you, full-time person, how that's gonna look on the schedule?
This, are you talking about Officer Tenbrink?
Right, how
No, I'm
it's
just
gonna
asking for
be.
him part-time.
Oh, he's just part-time?
Yeah.
He's coming as
That's what
part-time.
we're asking.
Oh, okay, I thought he said
Oh,
full-time. I thought he said full-time. I was like, hold on.
I'm sorry, if I said full-time, I'm.
No, we're just looking at him as a
Just
part-time.
part-time.
That's what, I was
Sorry.
like,
Okay,
hold
that's what I
on.
was confused.
Did anybody else hear that, or was it just?
My mistake.
I thought you said part-time.
I think he
I'm
was
sorry.
talking about the position.
Yeah.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
position, not putting him.
Okay.
Sorry for any confusion. Just
All right, I'm
part-time.
just trying to clarify,
it.
that's all.
Okay.
That was the only thing, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was it, part-time. Any other discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Yay.
Ann Pillow,
Yes,
Al
yay.
Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
So Dan, who made the motion, who seconded?
Al,
I did.
Okay, thank you.
This is for Jake.
Jake, yep. And Rick.
I'm gonna change my notes, I got full-time.
when is he starting? Is he starting on a pay period? Is he starting this week?
There is a very near upcoming RCIC class that I would like to get him in. It's on the 14th of this month, so I don't know how that falls
Okay.
pay period wise. If we have to work around that, we'll work
No,
around it.
I was just asking, I mean, it's nice when they can, but if they can't, we work with it.
Yeah. So that'd be his only requirement coming up soon. If I assume that passed, I was reading. I'm sorry. Okay. So that we lost our lieutenant. I think you guys, we talked about this the last time. Came a little bit of a surprise. Is what it is. So we have a police committee meeting coming up in a few weeks. Hopefully that will be part of the agenda to discuss that and how we move forward with the replacement, what that looks like. But not only did we lose a lieutenant, we lost, as supervisors, we're filling shifts as well. So that puts us one body shorter than we were moving into the month. Right now, as it stands, I think, I may have made some adjustments to that today, but I think we're at like 6 open shifts for February, which from the past, it's a little better than it has been. And bringing him on, sounds like he's able to be pretty flexible with his job that he's at now. So hopefully that takes a good chunk of that, if not February, for March. So again, we're moving in the right direction. Feels like we're treading water at times, but it is what it is. I did want to bring up one incident that occurred late, probably mid last month. I'm sure probably council has heard of bits and pieces of it, but there was a shooting at Harborview Apartments. I briefed the mayor just briefly on it. Nobody was injured, but there was an individual that came out during an altercation and fired his weapon off. An arrest was made immediately, the firearm was recovered, and he's been subsequently charged, and the eviction process is taking place at Harborview. I did get called out for that, so if there's any questions on overtime, that's what that was. And with that subject, there's been some overtime that we've had to assign just to try to stop the bleeding on some of these openings. It hasn't been a tremendous amount. I think the last pay period, it might have been 8 hours total for the department. So I'm trying to minimize it as much as I can, but right now, I'm of the opinion, hopefully council is too, that overtime beats no coverage for the police department. So we'll continue to try to keep it at a minimum, but as we work through this, it's something that might pop up from time to time.
Can I say something?
Yes, ma'am.
The only thing that probably could be a problem is when it puts them into the 40 hours, since they shouldn't be working more than 32.
I don't think there's been any,
I think this last pay ordinance, there was one, I can't even think of his name. See his face, I can't think of his name.
but also
Yeah,
lunch.
well, so that put him up to a 40 hour.
He worked 40, it was 40 and 32, I think.
Yeah, so that's the only thing. Other than that, I mean, if we could keep it under where it's not, if at all possible, because that puts them into
Right.
full-time status. We could be questioned for that. I know in the past.
I mean, that's
we-
what, yeah, we always did that in the past.
But we had an agreement.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
and that's what I was saying. If he's
So
gonna
that's what-
continually do it.
Just watch that. That's the only thing I can say.
Right.
I know it's hard to when it's
It is.
happening.
It's like chess pieces sometimes,
Right.
so.
And that's all you have available sometimes.
That's all.
That's pretty much, yeah, he's filling quite a bit.
Hopefully, this new hire, with his flexibility, can start taking some chunks of hours, but plans on paper always seem to look better than practicality, but we'll see. So, any questions for me, council? All right,
No?
thank you.
Mayor, I
Thank
have a
you.
question maybe you can answer. Recently in the news, there's been a couple of situations where policemen were involved and end up having psychological problems. Where are we now on doing psychs and what is psychiatric and what is the other part that we always do with them?
We do the psych and we do polygraph.
Polygraph.
Yeah.
Are we doing that? Are these officers having that? I know we used to, but then it got a little vague.
Well, it depends on if they had a recent polygraph done.
There's been times where we've, for, needed purposes, we've moved on without it, but that's always been a case where they've come from, a department where we've had access to records and gotten releases for those things.
Yeah.
Or if, like we just had an individual, he dropped out of our process, but he had just recently had one with another agency that was a company that was reputable, that I've dealt with in the past, that he
Yeah,
gave us a release.
that's fine.
As long as they have one
Yeah,
done. Like we don't have any that hasn't had them done,
Mm-hmm.
if
Good.
that's what you mean.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah,
in this
you've
day and
been,
age,
you've been doing background checks on all
Oh,
of them.
yeah.
right?
I receive
Right.
those. When he gets them, he forwards them to me and they go in their personnel jackets.
And we should have that on everybody, not just our police officers.
Yeah.
Well,
Everybody
it's a
that we
policy,
employ.
yes, for
Yeah.
everybody, yeah.
Is that happening? I don't remember the last time we even seen one of those on the pay ordinance.
I don't remember ever seeing that on a pay ordinance either.
I don't. put
Even
them
when
on
I was
pay
on
ordinance.
council, I'd never
I
seen
don't put that on the pay ordinance.
See, it's never been on a pay ordinance.
That's not something that goes on the pay ordinance, a background check, that's something that just goes in the personnel.
Well, can you,
Personnel file.
can you check and see if everybody's had that?
If you just want me to, I can.
I would like to
How
make
far?
sure.
Okay.
don't know about the rest of council. I just want to make sure all our records are up to date on
And I
everybody.
believe that's for full-time
What's that?
officers, or full-time employees, correct?
No, it's-
Everybody.
It's for everybody.
That's what
Everybody
we've
we
always
employ.
Oh. Well, as long as the village pays for it, I guess so.
Yeah, we do.
We do?
done. We've not paid for it in the past.
What? They just go down and,
It's up to them. It doesn't say
I thought we
anything in
paid
the
for it in the
policy.
past.
Yeah,
because-
we owe some people some
No,
money if
no,
that's the
no.
case.
We have not.
I thought
I'm
we did.
serious.
I thought
We make
we-
these and we just go pay for
I
it.
know we have not paid.
And then you
for
pay for it. We
background
should
Well, then
pay
that's
people
why it's not
what's
on
back and
payroll.
paid for it.
Well, then we need to find out if they've all had it, because it is required, it's been there.
Because there's employees that paid for it.
But no, the village has not paid for anyone to have a background check since I've been village
Yeah.
clerk, and I know that.
I know it's
Even
been-
under Dan,
I think it's
under
like
Carol, I can
$7 or
say
something
no.
like
That
$7.
when they do it, they have to do it on their own. We tell them
They
where to go.
used to be cheap,
to-
now-
To
Yeah, something
down to
happened, like he
the
did, that's why I
Justice
remember.
Center. We don't do it in-house with our department, you know,
Right.
with our
Okay,
police
so-
department. And I know that it's costly because I'm a notary and it's
like
not
$7
cheap.
Or something.
What
I
is
get
it?
it.
Something like $7. Not
No,
that bad.
not anymore. It's 38 something dollars for what they require here.
Yeah. It used to
For what the village is
used to be
asking
7
for?
or 10 bucks, yeah.
No.
It used to be.
It used to
Yeah.
be
Liquor
cheap,
control,
and like I
it'd be
said,
worse
for,
than
it-
that. It's only like $8.
Yeah, it's 30, 37, 38 dollars now.
it's big bucks because I, every 4 years, have to have one done for notary.
And I believe
so.
that's why that stopped
Yeah.
years ago, even while Dan was still,
But we,
yeah.
but
That's why
no,
it's
the
not
village, I
on
can
payroll.
honestly say that since I've been clerk, have never paid for anybody to have a background check if they want to be employed here. That is on the person applying for the position.
I do them for
Well,
applicants for
that's
us.
because that's a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
bit different than
Yours
a
is different
civilian, like,
One of us.
yeah.
I just remember that when we had the kids program, the supervisors and that, I do remember that,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's when it used to be $5, $7.
Yeah, what much?
Because,
Been a while.
I mean, if you have to pay that much for it, for that program, it kind of wasn't worth it at that point. Because I think they were only getting paid like $9 an hour, lasted maybe a week, 2 weeks. That's
Usually
just,
6 weeks,
Yeah.
8 weeks at the most, all depending on how many kids and how much money.
it's just, yeah, depending on how many kids and what you got. So,
Just like ballpark, what, so if I ask these businesses to kind of join it with the cops and kids, is there like a ballpark on, like a total amount for that?
To what?
Well, in the past,
For
I
the
think
kids
any
they're
of,
paying 15 to 20, wasn't it, usually?
what, you talking about the donation?
Yeah.
In the past, I think Ineos, the last time, wasn't it 10,000?
It was 10,000 the
But
last
they-
time we got
Last time,
something from
they have-
Indios.
they
and
have
I-
spent as
quite a
much
few
as
years.
20.
I
Yeah.
bet that's been
remember
15 years
20.
ago. I mean, it's
It's been a while, but yeah, they
Yeah.
have.
That's what it was then.
we're just in the wrong village. We need to be in North Bend.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council.
Hi, Dustin, how are you?
I have one subject, and that's the plow truck. Believe I've located one that will benefit us. Everything we're looking for is still available as of this morning. I sent out an email a week or two ago. Also got quotes for the snow blade and for the V-box to be installed on it. And they said for each one, it'll take a day or two. It's all in stock.
Our bottom line is 120,
8,000,
you say?
no, 108,000.
108, yeah.
For the truck?
No, that's with
the plow,
everything.
everything, everything on it,
For everything.
Everything.
everything ready to go.
So we can't get these things by themselves. We have to get it and have them put
Well,
them
you're
on?
getting them individually, but they're installing them, correct?
Climo or
Do they have to install them per warranty on them? Is that what the deal is.
No, what I'm asking is, we get the truck.
Right.
And then Klein will do these.
Right.
So when we
Separate things,
finance
yes,
the truck,
right,
this isn't included, this is another
Correct.
little packet,
correct.
okay?
That's what I thought you said.
Thank you.
That's what I thought you meant.
This can's been kicked down the road long enough. I think we should go ahead and make the move and replace the truck, purchase this one. I make a motion to that effect.
Second it.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Al Glick. Any discussion?
Yeah, what are we doing? What are we getting? Do we know? I mean,
Like if you made the motion, are you making a motion for
For the truck.
truck, plow
And
and
the
everything?
accessories.
And accessories?
Yes, the truck and
Okay.
Mhm.
Even though it's a separate company.
Guess we could make two different motions,
It's a-
but.
it is
we
a
just
separate-
need that.
Do you want
I'll
to
make
do
the
that?
motion for the
I would
accessories.
prefer it like that,
Well,
because
let's start with the truck.
Okay, sounds good.
And then once you
the
guys do
reason,
the
Dan,
truck,
is
we'll come
because
back.
Okay.
we're gonna have to have an ordinance or a resolution to enter into a lease with the truck stuff.
Yeah.
Not-
Fine.
not the
This-
other.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
I mean, I just, you know,
I mean,
No,
is it
it's fine.
is it Jeff Weiler, is that who it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, call for the vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer,
Yay.
Ann,
Yay.
Al,
Yay.
Pam.
Yay.
All right.
Now
No.
I'll make a motion for the accessories for the truck.
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Dan Pillow. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe, Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al
Yay.
Glick, Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Thank you. The only other thing is we want to move forward with selling equipment that we no longer use, as far as the F-150 and the 7.3 to put back into the pot with monies.
That would be a good idea with that Equinox.
If the village has no use for it.
Yeah.
What is that again?
Basically,
Sell
look for
the old
permission to go ahead and sell that, and she can get the information, we could post it.
Yeah, okay.
The white truck and the old water truck. 'cause
What we
those are-
normally do is, we advertise that we have those two pieces of equipment, and they're being sold as is. No
Yes.
guarantee or anything with it, and then we set a time frame for people to submit bids for the vehicles, and then we have a bid opening, see who's offering what, it goes back to council, council decides if they want any of them or not. But that's what we've always done in the past.
And what about the car that the police department?
Well, we gotta
That
get the
one is-
title.
That was still
I-
laying out there?
Actually, I got answers for that one kind of.
Okay.
Because I drove to Indiana to try to get that title, and was unable to get that title because they wanted me to go through that court, whatever. And then gave me a packet, so I took the packet, gave everything back to Bob, and that's where it's at right now. Just so you know where it's at.
We're still just beating that old dead horse, huh?
Because I mean, I
Well, I mean,
tried
it's
it.
like-
I mean, I didn't have.
Because I can go do
information.
it myself to try to get the title, but they said, well, because it's Indiana and we're in Ohio.
Yeah.
So
They don't like us over there.
I have no idea. She was really helpful. The lady at the court was really helpful with me though. I mean, she gave me everything I needed as far as paperwork and everything, and then I turned it back to Bob. I said, okay, just, you know, I'll even go do it myself. Just give me the next steps. Where am I going?
So Bob's just got
Yeah.
to
Maybe we
submit
need to-
everything.
We just
down
gotta be able to,
Remind
yeah.
Bob again.
I just need to remind him
Hopefully to
again.
bring it when we get this back.
Yeah.
Do it all together.
Every will.
Makes sense.
Or we can go ahead and just go ahead and advertise the trucks. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, each one of them will be separate deal.
Yes.
So you're talking about the
So,
white truck and the red dump?
the
No,
red,
not the dump.
The
the old water truck,
Gotcha,
yeah.
gotcha.
Because it's just sitting there too.
And there's certain language that has to go in it, and Bob
Yeah,
usually
he
looks
can
at
draw
it
that
to make
up.
sure that it's legal the way it's being advertised.
Would you run by me again the vehicles that we need to let for bid?
The old water truck,
Okay,
the red one, and then that white one, we never use it at all.
right. Those were the only
The
two,
two pickup
plus
trucks.
your Eddie. Huh?
The two pickup trucks, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, basically.
well, I guess we can't advertise for the dump, for the big dump. We're not gonna use that anymore, are we?
Well, I'd keep it around just in case we do something big.
It's paid off.
Move
Keep
some
it for
big
Main
stuff.
Street.
Yeah.
Wow.
The main thing we
I
use
gotta
it
plow
for
for it.
is the Addyston
On Main
cleanup.
Street.
honestly.
Yeah, okay. I
But
just
if you're
wanted-
gonna.
I mean,
Make
if
sure
we
we're
can
close
just,
where we are.
it's still running okay, it's had new tire, might as well just keep it for a while longer. And if in the future you still want to get rid of it,
Well, I'll make a motion that we submit for bid the 2 pickup trucks, the one Ford, both of them are Fords, right?
yep.
The red one and the white one, and Margaret will put the nomenclature with them.
And I'll
Yes.
second it.
Motion by Dan Pillow, second by Al Glick. Any discussion? No discussion, we'll vote.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer Wiehe,
Yes.
Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
Yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
Any other concerns? Questions?
Did you say something? Son?
Oh, yeah, about them signs that's on that firehouse down there was supposed to come off months and months ago. We can get them off there.
Signs.
What sign?
Them
It
no
says
parking signs
between
all
here and
along.
here. I mean,
We said that
Oh gosh,
months
that's been
ago.
there for, as long as,
What?
the 2 no parking signs.
We had them taking them off months ago, council did, and
Did-
supposed to take them off and just never took them off.
The no parking.
Is it on the
sign?
side?
it's on the side of the building.
I don't remember talking about that
Oh,
in
it's
council.
on the, yes, up against the
Yeah,
building.
It's on the building.
Was
We
it,
discussed
was
it
it
all
there
the
for,
time ago.
because of the fire department, or?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. There was room for cars to park vertically into the building.
Yeah.
But when we did Secretarian, or Church Street, they marked it wrong. And I asked the engineer, and I asked Chip to move the center line so there's just one lane towards Al's. Otherwise, there's parking in there, but nobody ever moved that double yellow line away. That's the reason you can't pull in and park. You could always do that before. So I don't know if we want to change that or just take down the sign.
Just take down the signs, there's people there all the time, just unloading, load stuff in there when we go to the firehouse.
Yeah, because
Just
if
take 'em
you
down.
park in the wrong way, the way it is now, you can't come around.
We need
you
some
can't
no
come
parking
around the
signs
corner
at
to the
other
right.
locations anyway.
In the park.
Definitely took away some.
We'll just take them and put them someplace else.
All right.
In the parking lot out here.
Yep. And we'll go to our audience now.
Hello, council.
How you doing?
Good. Just a couple things. I know the chief said something, springs around the corner. We do have some concerns on First Street with probably the speed control coming down the hill. I heard this was brought up in the past, either making speed humps, not bumps, but the speed humps in that road. I do have a couple addresses that I kind of drove up and down where kind of be a good thing. 2 or 3 of them, one would be like address for around 198. I do have one, 218, that keep them, it'll give them a little bit of leeway after the erosion in the road, right after that, to kind of slow down, come down the hill. Because if you come down the hill, I ride my brakes all the time, and, you know, get up to 35, get slow back down, get backed up, and so, and then maybe the third one around 155. Because I know there's a lot of kids, I have relatives live on that street, and know a lot of kids, and I counted about 20 kids that just ran them off the top of my head, and I don't know their names, but I know where they live, you know, running the street up there.
Right.
So I don't know if you have a program with funds or anything like that to do speed humps or bumps, or I know, working with the city of Cincinnati, they're doing like the pedestrian things, and I know they put some up on Warsaw Avenue and Price Hill, Reading Road and Bond Hill, them portable ones that get bolted down to the street. And they did run a plow and stuff over them to make sure they were, you know, wouldn't come up with the plows. So I don't know if they had grants or something for that. I don't know if you can,
I think
If
the
there's
reason we
paperwork-
didn't, because I remember that, I think
Yeah.
I was on council at the time, actually.
why
We got an
The
opinion
fire
on that.
department recommended against it.
well, now they make them where emergency vehicles can go over them because they're only so wide. If you run up Cincinnati, you'll see them throughout the city to help the cars slow them down.
But also had to do something with the salt trucks, if you remember, Chip.
Yeah, there
Well,
was a
they
few
ran-
reasons they dropped
'cause
it
with the
all.
city,
Yeah, right.
I have to do plow and salt streets with the city, and they did run,
And they run okay with
yeah,
it.
Yeah, well, I wasn't
I
in the
mean,
truck,
we
but
could
they
definitely
did.
revisit it just to see.
But they're bolted down,
Yeah,
so it's not like something that's permanently put in, that if you do have a problem, you can go and take it up for the season and put it back down. So I know it's congested at their First Street, it's, parking and kids running around and balls and bikes and dogs and everything else. Or I don't know if, you've seen these, signs that'll display your speed as the car coming down.
Right.
If, you can just remind by, and they flash if you're speeding or.
we have drug our trailer up there now and then. Maybe we can drag our trailer back up there again now that they're not doing all that work.
It just puts in their mind, hey, I'm speeding because you're listening to the radio or music. So, that was one thing, and, going back on, there's, prior paperwork down 165 First Street. And I don't know the codes, but they have building material and stuff laying all over, from the front corner of their house, all over in the front, and it's actually getting on another person's property. And I was just like, if I go clean up the lawnmower, the ladder, and all that stuff that's not on their property, and pitch it, do I get in trouble for taking somebody else's property they got thrown on another person's lot?
This was on your law?
No, it's not on my lot.
Okay.
I help take care of the property a little bit.
Okay, I got it.
Margaret Ann probably knows what I'm talking about.
I don't want to interrupt, but you said 165?
165.
I believe,
165.
yeah, I believe they got a 30-day notice.
Okay. So
I'm
you
almost
were
positive. I didn't do it, but our
Yes.
zoning enforcer did.
Okay.
I'm almost positive it's one of the ones that got a notice.
Okay, yeah, because it's like, because I said something like that. That's all I got on that. And another thing, I know Bob isn't here, and it kind of, I don't know, but, here, I'll give you, you want to hand it or direction?
I can think of it.
Either way.
Okay, I know I've asked for, the codes and stuff like that, and it's been since November, since I had a signed document. So I just went ahead and printed this thing out and talked to them. It's Ohio Court of Claims for Public Access Records. I know Bob isn't here, but I have, you can keep that copy of, the emails I sent Bob and stuff like that, and I haven't heard anything since. So
He
I
did
know
not
I
give you
did
the-
receive one phone call, that was from Margret Ann. When I first turned it in, she said she would have to check with Bob.
Yeah.
And it's been good. And I stopped down December 5th council meeting, because Bob walked out, gave me his email
Make a copy.
and stuff.
Myself.
In fact, on tape, he said, oh, I have it by Friday. I come down here on Friday, and the door's locked. And, I called down here, I left a message a couple times with Aaron. I think I left one on your, voicemail too. No return phone calls.
Yeah.
Even
I
a phone
forwarded
call
that
would
to
help,
Bob.
hey, we're working
Yeah.
on your stuff, don't have it already yet, got a partial,
Right.
what do you want to do, back and forth. And I know if Margret Ann seems like she's busy, I don't know who can delegate, like, hey, I need this paperwork ready, make sure you give it to Margret Ann so she can get everything together, or Bob, give
Yeah.
somebody a call. So, because with the codes, I don't know what codes I'm violating until I get a ticket.
Are you looking for just property code?
Well, and I want to find out what rank vegetation means, because I know he said he sent it to the wrong
Rank
address.
vegetation?
Yes. He sent it to the wrong address on 187, and he should have sent it 185. I know, I got his number at home, because it's a rental, but he had a crew up there cleaning up the fence line. Well, if it was the fence line mine or the fence line's his, because it runs between the property. And all it was all the honeysuckle bushes. So I think most everybody's property here in town has
That's
honeysuckle
honeysuckle.
bushes on it. So is that, I know it's an invasive plant, is that what they're calling rank vegetation, or is it out too close to the road? Because they don't use that driveway at all, so there's no,
I would have to look at it.
and there's trees up there, which I was gonna try to get cut down because they fill my gutters up. It's just, and they have an availability of the code book. It should be available when somebody walks in, to look at the code book.
Should be available at
No one is, yeah.
all times to the citizens
Right.
and taxpayers in the village.
Copy all that.
They should be able to walk in.
Yeah, I think it's part of the state law or something like
Needs to be
that.
on
The last time
Right.
Bob did not send you, like, he
Nope.
told me he sent you an email.
Nope, I sent him an email because he gave me the address, and I've been checking, I
Like,
I have
basically a
bad habit
digital
I don't
copy
check
of
my email like
everything.
every 2 weeks, but if I know I'm getting an email, I'll check it.
Right.
I did have a copy of
Was
the
it,
email.
did you check your spam?
I got
Sometimes it gets in
500
there.
emails in my spam. I go through, click 100 of them, and I do look.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
it
just
should
wanted to
came
make
back, because it
sure.
didn't come back, you know, I sent it on December 20th.
Okay.
So Matt, if we just send you everything that we got to do with codes and all this.
Right, and then,
that you can
I don't
decipher
know,
it.
from the original one in November, and I also put one in December too, I sent to Bob.
We'll scan it and send it to you, and you can look and see if that's what you want, and if it's not, I mean,
Yeah.
we'll try to help you.
Well,
And the
it's just-
reason I told you I checked with Bob is that's
Right.
procedure for me so that I don't get in trouble with my office because of the Public Records Act.
Right.
It's just the two maintenance codes there, and he said one was an actual vehicle code, not a maintenance code for the car parked up there. And I'm still trying to look into that, see if it does have to have license plates on it, parked on private property. But I ain't having any luck, everybody probably says you do. But
Well,
I'm
Mr.
still-
Pennekamp,
I got something for him.
does it, okay, never mind.
That's about it.
Okay, well, we'll try, we will get it to you one day this week. We
Yeah,
can't say
if
when.
you-
You can go through it, and if it's not what you want, then let us know it's not what
If
you're
you call me,
looking for.
if I'm unavailable, answer my phone, if I'm not working, just leave a voicemail or text.
We're just gonna do it, scan it and send it to your email.
Okay, I'll have to
And
check.
then that way you can
I'll
decipher
have to check
what
the
you
email.
want or you don't want,
All right.
What address is that again? I'm sorry.
please.
What address?
Oh, it's 165 First Street was what he was talking about.
Okay.
Isn't it what you're talking about the building
Yeah,
equipment?
all
or
the building
supplies?
That was the
materials and
building
stuff like all over the
Yeah,
place.
building materials, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But what are you talking about right now?
Well, he's talking
The
about, he
information
wants
he's trying to
codes.
get?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just said that I could copy the code, different code books that we've got, you know, like
Sure.
from the building stuff, and he can decipher what he wants, if it's in there.
Right.
It might
And then
be-
just
might be
have an
50
open
pages, but-
communication, line of communication. Hopefully not other than email. I know it's a way to track things, but you can go back, but I guess I have to get used to doing emails. So, not really. I drive around town and check things out and eyeball stuff.
Appreciate it.
So,
All right, thank you, Matt.
just one thing I know when Danny was talking to, and then talking about, like, it's growing up here. I didn't grow up in Addyston. I'm from Cleves. Sorry.
That's okay.
But,
Give you.
but with that growing up,
Yeah.
I lived a block away from the elementary school, the old elementary school there. And you can look out the window and then you find the schoolyard. That was the place to hang out. And we played, if it was half court, 10 on 10 half court, from big kids, small, everybody was included. And I think that brings the community together.
does.
I know after school got tore down here, there's nothing for the kids here in town to do, it's quite a park, especially basketball. And with tearing things up, when you play basketball, if you don't have a net, it's not the same game if you don't have the net for the ball right through. So if everybody tore up the net, so I think the bigger kids would take it upon them, you know, to correct the kids that were tearing things up, because they wanted the net to play basketball.
Yeah, sure. hope so.
Sometimes that does help, especially when you get the older kids involved. Right now, we just have the small playground.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if we can get the pickleball, basketball in there, you get your older kids down there, and some of them are, they want to take care of their stuff
Right.
because that belongs to them. I think that makes a huge difference
Something for them to
because,
do, basketball.
and then they would be down there for hours on end.
Mhm.
They would have eyes on everything.
That's all we did, the drinking fountain right there for school, and, you
Yeah.
know, we didn't have to come home till the streetlights came on, but that's a different era.
That's the same
I think
thing
that was
here
for
in
everybody.
Addyston. Addyston kids grew up the same way.
All right,
Yep.
that's it, and then you be in contact with me this week or sometime.
And you'll get it this week,
Okay,
most
thank you.
definitely. Thank you. All right, Cal.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Motion by Dan Pillow to adjourn, second by Al Glick. Call for the vote.
Dan Pillow?
Thank you for coming.
You had a question?
Jennifer?
I have a question.
Oh,
For the record, I didn't want to leave out Al. Al made contributions from his place, brought us snacks too, for the thing. I definitely want
Thank
to
you,
make that
Al.
for the record. Absolutely.
Hey, I wanted to
Al,
ask about
thanks.
that Kubota.
Thank you.
About
thank you, Mr. Ault.
the mower. Did you send the email over to about the mower?
They just needed a legal letter from Bob signed.
Yeah, I just didn't want council to think I was holding something up.
That was just for your information.
I was just trying, and even after talking to Bob today, I had to explain again. I just want something from you, so then I gave him the account code that I will use to make the payments out of. That necessarily doesn't mean that'll be the lease number from Kubota.
I just want to make sure, because I seen the Kubota on there, the tractor, I'm like,
Well, that's what's gonna be
What's going
a
on?
Zimmer, and it's, I've never been through this in 22 years. I've never had this with Kubota in the past. We've always had them and done them, and all of a sudden
They
things
changed
changed.
it.
So,
Might have gone through all that,
okay.
Probably.
Are we ready?
Yeah, go.
Dan Pillow,
Yay.
Jennifer, Ann Pillow,
Yay.
Al Glick,
yay.
Pam Jackson.
Yay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.